So I'm honored to be here with you today for a conversation that is both timely and timeless. Today's panel, Bridging Culture and Therapy, Integrating Traditional Healing with Modern Mental Health Care, is rooted in a simple yet profound truth. Healing is not one size fits all. It's personal, it's cultural, it's spiritual, and most importantly, it's human. As we explore the intersection of culture and mental health, we're also recognizing that healing asks us to integrate all parts of ourselves, not just the ones that are easy to talk about or that fit neatly into a diagnosis. That means our family histories, our languages, our spiritual practices, our resilience, and even our unspoken pain. All of it belongs in this room. Each of us belongs to multiple communities: ethnic, religious, generational, professional, and chosen. And every one of those communities has its own relationship to wellness, to suffering, and to support. When we as clinicians, or caregivers, or neighbors, understand that complexity, we can offer healing that's not just effective, but truly respectful and relevant. Today's panelists bring with them lived experience, cultural insight, and a commitment to reducing the stigma that still keeps too many people suffering in silence. Together, we'll explore how to infuse our work and our lives with practices that empower, connect, and honor the whole person. So with that, I will be asking some questions. This first question is for each of you. So we'll start with Lena, go to Dr. Abby, Orlando, and Kathy. Please briefly introduce yourselves, something that's not in the bio that everyone has in their pamphlet, and share what drew you to this work. Why did you choose the field of mental health?
Hey, everybody. You hear it? Okay. Hi, everybody. Sorry. Thank you for coming back. My name is Lena again. My background is I am a social worker. I went to school, obtained my master's degree in social work. I really care about mental health. It's been something that's really been something that I have battled throughout my life. I always say that, well, I currently am working at two places. I work at the Boys and Girls Club as a social worker on the behavioral team. And then I also work at Suncoast School for Innovative Studies. It's an elementary charter school, and I am the school counselor there. I am originally from New York. I've been here almost 2 years, and my family's from Puerto Rico. Mental health has always been important to me because I feel like we never talk about it, especially in a Hispanic Latino culture. I remember that as a child, I experienced things that probably children should not experience. I never talked about it. It led me to things that were not healthy for me, coping mechanisms that were not positive. And as I got older, it just got worse. I decided that I wanted to change my life around when my mother passed away. It was the foundation for me to want to give back and do something about it. So I decided to go to school after I raised my daughter, who is 26 now, and she's amazing. And I also have to deal with some of her concerns on mental health. So it reminds me that what I do for the kids that I am surrounded with, I always say that I want to be the Miss Lena that I didn't have when I was growing up. Some of these kids come from broken homes and they don't have people who support them. They are going from family member to family member. They run up to me and give me a hug, and as germy as they are, and I want to tell them, don't hug me, because I don't want to keep getting sick. I remind myself that maybe they need that hug, and maybe that's the only hug they're going to get for the day. So that is why I'm really passionate about mental health and being an advocate for people that don't have a voice.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Dr. Abby?
All right, so hi everybody, I'm Dr. Abby. I'm the Director of Student Services at Everglades University. And when I went to go do my Ph.D., I was like, I want to do something different. I'm Filipino. No one in this program's ever done anything Filipino. So I looked at Filipino values and I did research on 500 Filipino Americans, and found that more closely we adhere to our Filipino values, the lower we are in assertiveness. We don't speak up. Why? Because we grew up learning respect, obey, be humble, stay low. And then how's that going to get me anywhere in this competitive society? Like, I live in America. So I did my research, and at the very end, I was like, all done. I'm all done. I did my research. I did a presentation. Y'all, here's my results. And then some guy said, I have a question, Dr. Abby. Okay. Absolutely, I'll answer your question. And he says, what do we do? How can we fix it? I'm like, I don't know. What do I do? But he had a good question, right? How do we fix it? So I did more research and I studied, and now I speak to groups about exactly what's going on inside, and I give them techniques that they could use today so that finally they can hear their voice, right? I wrote a book. It's on Amazon. It's called Speak Up, Anak. Anak means child, and that's like triggering, because normally it's like children are seen and not heard in a Filipino household, and many of your households too, right? So we get to speak up, show our value in the world, and one of the things that's not on my bio is I took my message to the TEDx stage 3 times, and recently, this year, I've done 4 shows in comedy clubs, and I'm hitting people in the heart where they don't know they're gonna get it, and they leave transformed, and that is my mission and legacy in the world.
Thank you, Dr. Abby.
What was the question?
Orlando, if you could share briefly something about yourself that's not in the bio that you wrote for us,
Okay.
and kind of share what drew you to this work and why did you choose the field of mental health. And I love how you were actively listening and not rehearsing your own response.
So, something that's not in my bio. So, I don't know if it's in my bio. I can't remember which bio you have now. So, I host retreats. I've hosted retreats in Puerto Rico. We host them outside in we have a house, and we host them there on our farm with the animals. And I'm hosting one, I think recently, it's the 17th, we're going to be actually doing one, I think. It's called Journey to the Senses. And so I do those things as well alongside of everything else that I do, which is the individual counseling with Go Approach Life. Counseling. I think also, you mentioned TEDx. My wife, Evelyn, has a license for TEDx Bradenton, so I am the emotional support for TEDx Bradenton when we do that every year. So I don't think any of those things are in my bio. So what drew me to this? I have a master's in divinity. I also have a master's in counseling. The short of it is my spirituality and my beliefs is what drove me into doing this work with individuals. I have a belief that in order to change the world, you have to start with one individual at a time. And so if I can help one person really live and go approach their life on their terms, not based on what the rest of the world is teaching you, but based on what it is that you truly believe, that you can be honest and be yourself, then you will go and live your life, but you'll also make room for another person to live their life. They'll be like, how did you get there? Oh, I did it this way. Then now you've got two people who are learning to live their lives. And once you have two people, then you've got a community. Once you have a community, then you have a town. Once you have a town, then you have a city. Once you have a city, then you have a state. Once you have a state, then you have a country. So once you have a country, you can have the world change. So that's the reason why I do what I do, working with the individual to really help you be exactly who you choose to be. So sometimes I have to help you. It's a saying that I have when I start with anyone. Sometimes we have to unlearn what it is that we have learned in order to really get to the places we really want to be, because some of the things that we learn may no longer serve us. And so that's pretty much why I do what I do. Did I answer all of them?
Beautiful, thank you.
Oh, she's got a mic.
Okay. Not sure if this one is on. Can you hear me? Good. Okay. So I'm Katherine Bernal. I go by Kathy. And I've been in the Sarasota area for 23 years. Most of that time, I was working at an agency, JFCS, doing a lot of work with Spanish-speaking families mostly, and doing counseling lately with teenagers and young adults. Recently, I wanted to do something different and spread my wings a little bit, so I'm doing a little bit of private practice as well. What drew me to this work? It is interesting because I really started with curiosity about diversity and different cultures and different people. So I went into anthropology. That was my first career. And interesting, the more I learned about people and human beings in general, the more I understood that we all have the same needs, we all have the same feelings, similar experiences, and even though we address those feelings differently, the core is the same. We have the same nervous system. So we all love, we all fear, we all desire, and that was just so striking to me. So I decided to go into mental health to kind of like connect with people at that level, beyond cultural differences, beyond our clothes and beyond our some of our beliefs, but going for that essential part of the human beings, which is feelings. And I loved what Orlando said, like really helping people get to where they want to get. Sometimes unlearning things, sometimes using what they already have and their strengths and their traditions. Sometimes they can build from that as well. So yes, curiosity is what really drew me to this.
Love that. Thank you all so much. Isn't this a fantastic panel? I'm so excited to begin. All right. Dr. Abby, you mentioned the Filipino values. And so what is it about your cultural background that influenced your view of mental health and healing? Can you go a little bit deeper into that?
Yeah, so I'm second generation, okay? That means my parents moved here. They brought over all they learned over there and try to work that here in this country where it doesn't fit. So I learned, like I said, respect, obey, be humble, don't confront, always look for the harmony, keep the peace. And the thing is that we have this thing called lakas ng loob, which means inner strength. So it's like resilience, but it could also go bad where when you're enduring suffering, you just kind of like suck it up, buttercup. Don't let anybody see you sweat, right? It's a part of shame, which is also another value, hiya, which means it's like, you watch Mulan, please bring honor to us all, right? You gotta look like everything's good. And my dad was a bishop of the Philippine Independent Catholic Church. My mom was a distinguished doctora. So like, you better not show any weakness. And that is destructive when you don't say anything about it. So the question was, what are the Filipino values? And
Which is the view on mental health and then healing.
yes. So it made me realize, and I've met so many other people who are like, oh, I'm suffering too. That's also something that I've always just thought was part of being a Filipino American is that we have to deal with all of this. With that destruction, I find that we have to look towards the mental health techniques, methods, therapies, and we have to surpass the pressures of parents, aunts, uncles who are like, why will you go to therapist? You know, it's not necessary. You must be strong. I suffered more than you suffered. You know, you're not experiencing anything. And so you have to rise above that, find your own strength, come to a summit like this, meet great people like you guys, and then find that it's a matter of, it's hard, but realizing that you need to, and then seeking the help. That it's necessary, and a lot of people, just like we keep saying it, we're not seeking out what we need, and that's why we're here to empower everybody. You need to realize, we were just saying, I don't know who I was talking to. It's okay to not be okay, right? We've been saying that all day, and for us to all realize that we're in that boat together. We know that we're not messed up. It's all of us, and we all have awesome resources available for us.
Agreed. And it's about speaking our story and sharing our story so that others can relate and potentially then take a similar path, as Orlando was saying. If I myself am healed, I'm modeling that, I can gather with someone else, and then we can really, really change the world. So Lena, you're next. Are there traditional or cultural healing practices you turn to in your personal or professional life?
I think you guys just experienced what I turn to. In the Latino community, sound healing was never taught to me. As I got older, I started doing some mindful practices. I started doing yoga, and that led me to sound healing. I started realizing when I was in a yoga class, that the yoga teacher hit a Tibetan singing bowl, and I was like, what the heck was that? It was like a reset to my system. Ever since then, I started seeking out sound baths, or just anything that had some kind of sound instrument based. I started to meditate. I don't know if you guys have ever meditated. It's such a spiritual practice for me. I wasn't aware of just sitting and just being still. What does that feel like? What does it actually feel like to sit and listen to either the sounds or have someone mediate the meditation? I sat there uncomfortable, but I continued to do it, because sometimes we have to do uncomfortable things to reach to a certain goal. I started finding myself journaling, writing my feelings down, which was crazy because I never spoke about my feelings. And here I am writing them on paper, and I'm wondering who might find this book and who is going to read my deepest, darkest feelings. But I wrote them down anyways, even though I was scared. Every day I started just meditating and getting really comfortable with it, and it became a practice for me. I was not starting my day until I meditated. Before I brushed my teeth, before I grabbed my phone, whatever the case was, I sat up in my bed and I meditated. And then I would start my day, and people would ask me, why are you so happy today? Why are you always happy, Lena? Why are you always smiling? And they didn't know that I gave myself a gift in the morning. I meditated, I released, I gave myself some affirmations, and I started to really ground down in feeling that meditation, mindfulness was really positive for my mental health. And then that's when I got introduced to the sound baths, and then I decided to seek out going to see, how can I give this to other people? Luckily enough, I found the Om Shop here. If you guys have not gone there, please go there. It's on Tamiami, South Tamiami. It's an amazing shop. It's a female-owned business, And I took my level 1 certification there, and I'm on my level 2 certification to be a certified licensed practitioner. And ever since then, I get home after a very stressful day of work, and I hit my sound bowls, and I just reset myself back. So that's been my spiritual practice.
Beautiful healing through the mind and the body, for sure. Kathy, what are some key considerations when working with clients from cultures that prioritize spirituality, ancestral wisdom, and community-based healing? How can we integrate those practices into modern mental health care?
Wow. I would say two things, a lot more, but two things that are very, very important for me. One, I go with the client's culture or the person that I'm working with and their tradition and their values. They are not going to be always the same as mine. And it is their journey. I'm just there holding space and supporting them and literally learning from them as well. But it is their journey. So whatever they consider important, whatever helps them, elements from their own tradition, their own culture. I am not a Christian counselor. However, if praying is important for this person and really connects them to that higher power and enhances their spirituality, that's going to be important in our sessions. It's going to be important to talk about it, and I'm going to be there to help this person make this practice more intentional, more mindful, more helpful for them. The other piece is I never misrepresent myself. I try my best to show the limits and just letting know people that maybe there are these tools, but I may not be the expert, or I can only give you this much. If you want to expand more, you can look for more information. I was listening to Lina, and she is like really learning and becoming an expert with healing sounds. I was thinking about meditation and breathing exercises that come from yoga. I'm not a yogi. However, I use those exercises. And it would be a crime if I didn't share that with my clients, because it's such a blessing, it's such a gift. So making sure that the other person learns the tools, but also they understand that there's another world out there, and I am not the key holder of all the information. So that's, yeah.
Sure. No, that was beautifully said. I think I'm in great company here, knowing that we're all guides, right, to our clients, to those that we're serving. And it's really about uplifting and finding that inner strength within them. And how do we guide them to that? And so for anyone who is hesitant about seeking out therapeutic care, know that the therapist is just there to guide you. It's not a moment of judgment by any stretch of the imagination. So Orlando, I'm coming to you next. What does it look like when traditional healing and modern therapy coexist in a powerful way?
I like this question. Traditional healing and modern therapy. I wonder if when it was traditional, it was modern therapy back then, and now, because we're modern now, it's called traditional. My point is, what we may call traditional now may have been what therapy was back then. Has anyone ever heard of, and I may get this wrong, so please forgive me, you can beat me up later. Has anyone ever heard of going to confession before? How many of you have sat with a therapist and confessed? There's a difference, though. There is a difference of giving you some things to do after the confession within the, and this I'm speaking particularly with the Catholic Church. But what's so different from that when you actually sit down with a therapist? there's a lot of difference, but I'm just giving you a point of reference to see that what we consider traditional ways of healing may actually be some of the very things that therapists end up doing. We just, because we're westernized culture, decided to slap a name on it. So my point of view, and again, this is Orlandoism, so don't hold this as they're all thinking the same as me. My point behind this is that if we can hold an open space to see what traditional is, we may find that we're doing some of those same things. And already integrating them, we are just calling them a different name. So keeping that in mind and keeping an open mind, and always, I can't remember which one. Someone said remaining curious. Who said, yes. Remaining curious about anything that's different from us may open us up to see that the very thing that we're curious about may actually be some of the very things that we're already doing.
When you are anytime confronted with anything you don't understand, that curiosity will lead you to a more beautiful place, for sure. Oh, Lena. How do we help people understand that it's okay to not be okay, especially in certain aspects of our community where mental health is stigmatized?
Thank you for that question. That's a great question. I do a once-a-month live with a friend of mine on Instagram, and our username is, well, our IG handle, whatever you call it, is everything is fine. Because we walk around and someone will ask you, hey, how you doing? And our answer is always, I'm doing great, I'm doing okay, I'm doing fine. And it's actually not true. We're not doing fine. So I think just really understanding that it's okay to say, I think that we think when we say we're not okay, we're just being negative, or we're projecting this like negative feeling, or we don't want to dump our emotions on people. I think it's important that when you ask someone, how are you, that you actually mean it, but that you're honest with it. You know what, today's not the best day, but I'm gonna be okay. I have a sound bath after this, or I'm gonna meet up with a friend. Do things that you feel are going to make you feel calmer. I think that we think that it's such a bad thing or a negative thing to not be okay. There's something wrong with me. What's wrong with me? And then we start playing this record player in our head that I'm not gonna get better. I have no resources. I have no outlets. No one loves me. Why was I born this way? All these questions that we keep projecting, these negative inputs in our mind. So probably just reverse that a little bit whenever you can and tell yourself everything is not okay, but I'm gonna be okay. I like to say some affirmations in the morning, as I did in the sound healing session. You know, I am worthy. I am doing my best. Show up for yourself so that you can show up for others. And remind yourself that even if you're not okay, there's always so many other things that you can do to get there. I can laugh and I can make jokes and I can be the funniest person in the crowd. You never know. I can sit here and tell you a billion things that I've gone through that have been traumatic in my life, but I'm still on this stage and I'm still able, thank you so much, by the way, for having me on this stage, just sharing a little bit of myself, because you wouldn't see me and know that I do battle my own things behind closed doors, right? So I think it's really important that you check in on the people that probably you would never expect it, you know, that you think that they have the best life and they're just perfect. Nobody's perfect. We're not fine, but everything is fine, and you're gonna be fine.
Beautifully said, thank you. It's really important to be authentic and vulnerable. That actually builds connection between us as humans. And we know connection staves off anxious symptoms, depressive symptoms, and addictive symptoms. So really being our true authentic selves and sharing truly how we're feeling is so important. Orlando, I'm coming back your way. What role does language silence, or storytelling play in helping people feel seen and heard in the spaces you move through or feel connected to?
Great question. Great question. I'm going to start with the storytelling part in particularly, because Lena just mentioned about how you don't know what she goes through behind closed doors. And you were saying how we can drive connection, which can help open doors. So a lot of times, like she was saying earlier, we like to pretend that we're fine and we're okay. So I completely agree. So that's why I was like, if you know what I mean. One of the things that, it's a book by Miguel Ruiz. Yes, thank you. 4 Agreements is what it's called. And one of those agreements is be impeccable with your words. And I speak about being able to speak truth to power about your own circumstance and what it is that you're feeling. So in telling your story, sometimes it's just a matter of talking it out to get it out of you, because otherwise you're just holding it inside by yourself. And there's so much power to actually telling and using your words and the language of getting out whatever is going on with inside of you, because you may know your story inside your head, but you're telling that story inside of your head. And you know you, so you don't have to try and translate that and communicate that to someone else who doesn't know you. So part of what storytelling is trying to communicate and connect to the person on the other side, because you're trying to help them understand who you are and where you're coming from. So that's the reason why storytelling is so powerful, especially in the healing space. And I think that's very powerful in many different aspects of culture. And if we take the time to really see the person for who they are, to see, okay, is it a story that needs to be told? Is it a story that needs to be told in a certain way? Because everybody doesn't tell stories the exact same way, too. So that's another thing to keep in mind. If you remember what Kathy said about being curious, remaining curious all the time, even when we're sitting with someone hearing their story, is very important, too. Did I answer all of that?
Allowing people to feel seen and heard, right, in the spaces we move through,
Yes.
through that storytelling,
Yes.
is really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And being an active listener, right, when someone is sharing their story, and being honest about how much bandwidth you have to be able to listen to their story at that time is really important. So Dr. Abby, how can small gestures like saying hi shift the culture around mental health?
Speak up, Anak. So actually, there's something I talk about often. It's called positive assertiveness. Every time you enter a space, you see somebody, you're near anyone, you have the ability to lift their spirits. For all the mental health people, you guys know what mirror neurons are, right? So I could go up to you and say, good morning, hello. Actually, the parking attendant, whoever's out there, just so you know, they were so great. Did they say good morning to all of you? Oh my goodness. But like they filled this space. So you all have the power. Mirror neurons works like this. I can say, oh, good morning, oh my goodness. And you didn't say a thing. All you did was heard me, and your brain felt like you did it. Right? So I can now mess all y'all up. Like, oh my goodness, hey y'all, that's a cute color on you. And so you have this power just by saying hello. And so really quick right now, I want you to experience it. Okay, you made them do stuff. I'm gonna make them do stuff. Ready? So what I want you to do is I want you to tell 2 people, turn around. Oh, interactive audience participation. Ready? And I just want you to give value to the person who's here and just say, make sure you smile. Don't be creepy. Okay. Say, thank you for coming today. Ready? 2 people. Ready? Thank you for coming today. Thank you for coming today. Thank you so much for coming today. Woo. See, so not only did you feel that happiness, so did the person, like, oh, you're welcome. I did come today. I am so valuable today because I came. So just those little things will bring it out in you and bring it out in the people around you. And I'm gonna mess you up because now, every time you're within a certain earshot of anybody, are you gonna take the opportunity? I mean, that parking attendant was probably 50 feet away. Good morning, right? And he didn't lose that opportunity, right? So what opportunities are you gonna take? And which ones are you not gonna take? Like if you're at work, you pass that long hallway, the long awkward hallway, or I've been to the hospital recently, visit my mom, and you go down the long awkward hallway and you're like, do I look at him or do I not look at him? Do I look at him, do I not look at him? Ready, we're getting closer, so then all of a sudden it's like, hello? And then you go back down. So take the opportunity or don't, but what kind of person do you want to be? Somebody who brings value and shines and brings sunshine from darkness? I think that could be you.
Well done. Kathy, what does it mean to be imperfectly perfect as a therapist, a healer, or a human being?
Okay, so perfection really doesn't exist in my world, in my language. Nothing is perfect. So we are all perfectly imperfect, really. And that means that there's a lot of potential because in our own imperfection, there's possibilities. There's possibilities for adapting, for growing, for learning. There's possibilities of connection with other imperfect or perfectly imperfect people. When we think about the therapeutic alliance as healers or as therapists, you're gonna notice that some people really match very well and they are like the perfect fit, and their journey is incredible. And some others, they may try like maybe 2 or 3 counselors before they actually find that really good match. So one of the things that I was thinking with that question is sometimes we give up like really soon in our journey just because that first counselor was not that really, really good match. And they are gonna be out there. You're gonna find that person that you're gonna be able to grow together and learn together and go through this journey and really get to your authentic self. That is not perfect, but it is beautiful and is wonderful.
Beautifully said. So with that, I'm going to ask each of you, and we'll start with Kathy. What's one practice or mindset you'd love the audience to take home with them to create more love, less stigma, and a stronger sense of belonging?
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to something that Lena and actually Chaplain Kevin, yes, he said something on the video about it is not what is wrong with you or what is wrong with me. And sometimes it's not even what happened to you. Sometimes it's what is happening right now. And when we really feel uncomfortable with ourselves, sometimes we actually wonder, what is wrong with me? What is it that is making me behave this way? Really looking at what is happening in our body or what may be happening in the other person's body. A lot of behaviors that are uncomfortable or that we judge as inappropriate come from a place of fear or embarrassment or sadness. And when we realize that that is what is behind the uncomfortable moment, then everything changes and we make that connection, we get that empathetic interaction. We get curious and we start finding a different way to deal with the situation. But it is about what is happening, not what is wrong.
Orlando? What's one practice or mindset you'd love the audience to take home with them?
One practice or mindset that I would love for everyone to take home with you. First I'll do a mindset, and then I'll do a practice. One mindset that I would love for everyone to take home is really to grasp a lot of the things that we've been saying up here. Each one of us are different people, and I would love for you to grasp that we are different people. We all serve different groups of people, and we are all experts in our own lives. And I'm hoping that you all can grasp that too, that you are experts in your own lives as well. We sit up here because they asked us to, and I'm very thankful that you asked us to sit up here. But you all are the experts on your own lives. And the practice I would love for each one of you to take, I'll give it really quick, it's something I do, it's really expounded with Journey Through the Senses, is we have 5 senses that we know about, let's put it that way. If you can take away to ground yourself, to be present in the moment, 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can hear, 3 things that you can physically put your hands on and touch, 2 things that you can search and smell, and then 1 thing that you can taste, it will put you back into your body and be present with yourself. So if you're ever experiencing anxiety, feeling down, all of these things could help you actually be more present to the moment, because what you're doing is you're actually looking for 5 distinct things that you see, 4 distinct things that you can hear, 3 things that you can actually put on your skin or touch in your hands that you can really feel, 2 things you can really sniff and smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. It puts you back into your body and being present with yourself.
Thank you. Dr. Abby?
Okay. So this is a practice that I use. It's very easy and it's free. It is something that I talk a lot about diversity. And I talk to Asians about how to find their value and to show up in the world and to share their value and their importance and what they have to offer rather than hiding it. But I also talk to my allies. And the thing is, I want to just have you guys realize we're just human. We're all just humans. We're not a certain color. We're not a certain religion, race. We're all humans, and to see us as humans. In my comedy skit, I talk about the fact that every time someone sees a Filipino, immediately they think I'm like a walking, talking lumpia, which is an egg roll, if you know. It's like, I love lumpia. Like, I'm just a person. You don't have to talk to me about our food. So what I want, this is the practice. See us as humans. And talking about creepy, this might be a little creepy, but it's actually kind of fun. Ready? When you talk to someone, someone is talking to you, imagine yourself, look into their eyeballs and imagine yourself jumping into those little round circles in their eyes. And you swim in their little eyeballs. And what's happening is while you're doing that, you're in there, you can't come out. You're continuing to give value to the person, listen to the person, hear what they're saying, feel their excitement, feel their stress. Live with them, know them as a person. Like, oh, you have a 17-year-old, Orlando was telling me, having a 17-year-old, wow, how does that feel? And then just jump in, look at his little eyeballs, right? Jump in. You didn't know I did that to you earlier, right? And I was like living it, the 17-year-old, he's out of the middle school years, like, tell me more. What's he doing? Working at Olive Garden, what else? And just live in there. And when you do that, you get the thrill. And it's like better than going to Disney World. You have like free admission to someone's wonderful, lovely life. And you get to see them as a human, not as a person of a certain demographic. And you aren't applying upon them all your little stereotypes. You're just looking into those round little eyeballs. And it's so fun. It's so addicting and exhilarating. Oh my gosh. Don't run from me after this. I'm gonna go and jump into those pools after this. It's so fun. I welcome you and invite you to do it. It's just wonderful.
How can I measure up to what you just said? I bet you guys didn't know that you were coming to a comedy show. I don't even want to look at her in the eye now. What was the question again?
So we have approximately 30 seconds for you to share
Ready.
one practice or mindset you'd love the audience to take home.
Practice or mindset I would love for you to take home. I'll piggyback off of what Kathy said. Our experiences are not what is happening to you, rather what is happening for you. We go through all of our experiences and we are wondering, why are we going through these things? Just picture yourself like a book. We have different chapters. People come and go in our lives. You have the choice to allow people to stay or to go. That is all up to you. I would really like you to take away practicing a mindset of a breathing technique. I like to do the 4-4-4. So you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it for 4 counts, and you breathe out for 4 counts. And keep repeating that until you regulate yourself. I like to do things like that and just remind yourself that you are doing your best. We have 30 seconds. Thank you so much. This has been great. Amen. Hallelujah.
All right. During lunch, if you will all find someone that you can share one word you're taking away from this conversation, that would be so meaningful to me. I want to thank you and for being here. Thank you to all of our fabulous panelists. Did you guys just believe the experience, the expertise, the wisdom, the laughter? It was beautiful. And thank you for each of you for opening up your minds and your hearts to thinking about this in a different way. Healing doesn't start in therapy alone. It starts in conversations like this one, in communities that listen, and in every moment we choose to see each other with compassion. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's say hi more. Let's make it okay to not be okay. And let's make it even more okay to ask for help.